heading towards summer. It's very dry right now this year. I've had a lot of people ask me about certain types of weeds, and today we're going to talk about a very annoying weed that is the sand spur. Now, there's a lot to learn about the sand spurs, and the biggest thing is that effective control of sand spurs is when you actually don't see it at all. So for starters, the first thing we need to do is identify the plant. So let's take a look at this right here. Now this lawn is a Bahia lawn. You can see if you look out across the lawn, it does look very healthy. It is super dry, so you can see along the wood line. It's grayer in tint, which means that it's more dried out, and that's just because it's so hot and dry out right now. The lawns are really suffering because of the heat. So this right here, some people mistake as a sand spur. This is not a sand spur. This is a nut sedge plant. There are several different varieties of sedge. This looks like it has little spiky balls, but it's very soft and doesn't hurt. Once again, this is not a sand spur plant. So let's go and see if we can find the actual sand spur plant. So you want to come over here, we have found an actual sand spur plant. And what you notice about the area that we're standing in here is this is not the actual lawn. The actual lawn is over there. You can see it's much thicker over there and growing well. Here we have different type of environment altogether. This is more of a flower bed, super sandy, super dry. You can see that there's no grass around and also no irrigation. So this is where the sand spur plant really thrives. So this is the sand spur. This is very harsh spikes on these little green balls. It catches your pants, and if it catches your skin, it'll stick in there and it hurts and burns. So these are very pesky because they get in your pet's hair, and as you can see, it looks a lot like grass at the base of the plant. So before it matures all the way, it sometimes is hard to identify unless you really know what you're looking for, that you have these sand spur plants. That's why it's super important to try to control these plants before you are really seeing them, and that's going to be in the early springtime when you're going to be putting down those pre-emergence. Pre-emergence means that you are attacking weeds that have not they've not germinated and started growing yet. So if we can prevent them from growing, that's optimal for this plant, because once this plant gets to this level of maturity, effective control is essentially digging it out and getting rid of it. There are chemicals that you can put on this plant to get rid of it. However, if you have a Bahia lawn, some of those chemicals will also kill the Bahia grass along with the sand spur. And when you're talking about getting into these really hot, dry summer months, putting harsh chemicals down on your lawn anyways isn't the best idea unless you're desperate to just choke out a problem before it takes over the whole lawn, knowing that maybe in that area you're gonna lose that spot. So just for further reference in identifying what the actual sand spur plant looks like, you can see that the sand spur plant is right here in the middle. See those big, nice, spiky, prickly balls, whereas these are more round. Also, remember, they are soft when you're touching them, and these kind of remind me of a firework, whereas the sand spur is growing on a stalk. These more they grow out of the center of the plant and then spread out in a circular pattern. So just keep that in mind, that you are properly identifying the plant or the weed that's in your yard that you're trying to get rid of. So to recap the things that we've talked about as it relates to sand spurs and controlling them, number one, a healthy lawn is always going to be your best bet for effective means of control. That means mowing it at the proper height, watering it, and keeping it nice and thick. Sand spurs do not like to grow in lawns that are nice and thick. If you do have a current problem with sand spurs and you have the option to bag your clippings after you've mowed, that is really a great option if you have the lawnmower that has the bags on the back. If not, try to avoid mowing the area where the sand spurs are bad and then going to other areas in your lawn, because you will spread the seeds. An option once the plant already matures and you're dealing with those prickly sand spurs catching on your pants currently is to dig out the plants. You can go individually. You need to make sure that you get it all the way down to the roots and dig out the individual plants. You can use a selective herbicide, but you need to do your research. Depending on what type of grass that you have, you need to pick an herbicide that will not also kill the grass that you have in your yard. For example, this product that we have, this herbicide, is safe on St. Augustine, but it will kill your Bahia grass. We also have herbicides that are good on Bahia grass, but they are not good for St. Augustine. Sand spurs are a little tricky in that not every herbicide will kill it. You need to be getting specific selective herbicides to kill the sand spurs. And most effective herbicides are always going to be your pre-emergent herbicide. And that is what you're putting down in the later months of the year and also right before springtime. So right now in the summer months when it's very, very hot, your best means of control are going to be getting that lawn back up to a healthy spot and also digging out those plants. If you're desperate and you really don't want a certain area to spread in your yard, you can always use a non-selective herbicide. An example of that is Roundup with an active ingredient of glyphosate. You want to be careful and only spot treat very small areas because, like I said, it's a non-selective herbicide and it will kill everything that you spray it on. Also, if the wind is blowing and you get some overspray into a flower bed or onto a bush, it will also kill that as well. So you need to be very careful if you do decide to go with the non-selective herbicide route. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to give us a call or come on down to our office here in Homosassa on Highway 19.